larger number of dishonest words. With that introduction, let us now discuss some deceptive deeds committed by Jesus. First, in John 7:8-10, in the Revised Standard Version, Jesus said to some of his followers, quote, "Go to the feast yourselves. I am not going up to this feast, for my time is not yet fully come." So saying, he remained in Galilee. But after his brothers had gone up to the feast, then he also went up, not publicly, but in private. Unquote. Here we have a clear instance in which Jesus lied. He said he was not going up, but he later went up secretly. Second, in Matthew 5:22, Jesus said, "Whoever shall say thou fool shall be in danger of hell fire," even though he himself called people fools. And he did this in Matthew 23:17, 23:19, and Luke 11:40. From his own lips, we can only conclude that he too is in danger of going to hell. Third, in Matthew 5:44, he said, quote, "Love your enemies, love them. Bless them that curse you. Do good to them who hate you." But in Matthew 12:34, 23:15, 17, 19, 27:33, Luke 11:40, and John 10:8, he called people fools, vipers, serpents, hypocrites, whited sepulchres, thieves, and blind. Who on earth would equate name-calling of that kind with loving your enemies and doing good to those who hate you? Whether true or not, these remarks fly in the face of his teaching that people should love, bless, and aid their enemies. What a hypocrite. Fourth, Jesus often changed, abolished, or added to the old law. In the 10th chapter of Mark, a man asked Jesus what he had to do to be saved, and Jesus said, quote, "Thou knowest the commandments. Do not commit adultery. Do not kill. Do not steal. Do not bear false witness. Defraud not. Honor thy father and thy mother." Unquote. That's what the man had to do in order to be saved, according to Jesus. Notice anything odd about this list? In the first place, he deleted 5 of the 10 commandments, such as honoring the Sabbath and avoiding idols. And second, he added an obligation that isn't even a commandment. There's nothing in the commandments about defrauding not. In addition, he directly defied a stern New Testament prohibition against any alteration of the Bible. Revelations 22:19 alleges that if you alter the Bible in any way, you do so at your own peril. It says, quote, "If anyone takes away from the words of the book of the prophecy, God will take away from him his share in the tree of life." And Deuteronomy 12:32 in the Old Testament says, quote, "Everything that I command you, you shall be careful to do. You shall not add to it, and you shall not take from it." Unquote. Both of these warnings were ignored by Jesus, who did not hesitate to alter the old law whenever he felt like it. In effect, Jesus looked upon himself as being above the law. For Jesus to allege that he had created a new commandment is biblically blasphemous. One would be hard-pressed to find a statement, this is by a biblicist, further from reality than that found on page 108 in the book entitled 108 Questions People Ask Most About the Bible by the apologist Don Stewart. Completely ignoring the New Testament record of Jesus, Stewart said, quote, Jesus did everything that the law required, never once breaking any of its commandments. He fulfilled the law, unquote. And on page 128 in the same book, Stewart said, quote, Jesus was obeying the law of God up until the end. He honored and obeyed the law throughout his life, and he also honored the law while suffering his death, unquote. Can an apologist be more mistaken? How could one be more erroneous or make a more grandiose error? In reality, Jesus ignored, abolished, and diminished the old law on a regular basis. The Jewish scholar Kaplan correctly stated, this is an accurate analysis, he stated this on page 56 in his book entitled The Real Messiah, quote, Jesus claimed that he did not intend to change the laws of Moses, but later on he himself abrogated some of the laws while his followers eventually abolished or changed nearly all of them. Even though the Torah itself clearly states in many places that its laws are eternal, never to be abolished, unquote. In addition, Jesus made a comment in John 13:34 that reveals his attitude, if not contempt, toward the old law in two major respects. He said, quote, a new commandment I give you, that you love one another, unquote. If he had read Deuteronomy 4:32 and 4:2 and 12:32 with more concern for precision and less for revision, he would have noticed that the text clearly states that the old law was not to be altered or diminished in any way.